this was coming. There was
no, they were panicked by the BBC
plan.
and Sky News and ITV News, as always. Benjamin, I just want to come back to this Harriet Harman point, right? Because the fact is, she set herself up now as judge, jury and executioner as the head of the Privileges Committee, which is going to determine Boris Johnson's future and potentially whether he's able to stay an MP. Now, she should surely, if she has even a scrap of decency, she must resign, because she has already revealed her findings and her opinions before the inquiry has even begun. So if this was any form of legal process, she would be out because of a conflict of interest.
I mean, as a career barrister before being a politician, I'm sure she knows better than you on those things. But look, I think there's a Conservative majority on this committee, and the fact is that it should be a basic of all 650 MPs that you cannot lie to the House of Commons. And we're not talking about the example you gave, whereby a minister might make a mistake, so, you know, a policy pans out rather differently to what they predicted. That is not what
presumably,
like this.
So presumably you would have also wanted Tony Blair to be out for saying that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq?
No, because that's an entirely different situation.
How is it?
And, as I just said...
It's far more important situation,
and
right,
as I just
than
said,
a few drinks at number 10.
And, as I just said, I mean, you're obsessed with it, honestly. You know, no wonder you listen to things like Steps and Escom 7, because you're obsessed with the mid-noughties. Move on, get over it.
What's that got to do with anything with respect?
The truth is that if you say to the House of Commons, as he did, that no rules were broken, when he knew there'd been cheese and wine in the garden, he knew there'd been a party... But he knew there'd been a party with the head of...
Forget the weapons of mass destruction. We're talking about new glasses of wine.
He knew that there'd been a birthday cake. He knew that all of those things had happened. And the question you have to ask yourself... Well, respectfully, I just want to finish my point. He knew all those things had happened, and he said they hadn't. Now, you may well think that those things are not significant enough for him to lose his job.
Didn't think
but that doesn't mean it was excusable for lying.
Yes, that's the point.
And they weren't, actually. The police only found him breaking the rules in the Cabinet room.
And what he said is, if he inadvertently misled Parliament by what he said about not knowing the rules were being broken, he was sorry about that. But, you know, the thing, you know why they want him finished off? They want his head on a platter now, because they're still scared of him.
Yeah.
They don't want him to come back, because the truth of it is Boris would win the next election for the Tories, and maybe they're just realising that now. He would have won against Starmer.
He is the only one.
They want to finish off their biggest threat.
The truth is actually that people like you and the Boris cultists, you're acting like the momentum of the right. You know, Dan, you are just the Diane Abbott of the Tory party now. You are completely obsessed. You're on the fringe.
Let me tell you, this is not a little can from M&S. It's water, okay? So don't you compare me to Diane Abbott.
No, but it's anti-democratic, Benjamin. I'm not a massive fan of Boris. I think he's better. I think he's better than Liz and Rishi. And I think the Conservative Party were crazy deposing of him without a plan. But he hasn't done anything majorly wrong. He hasn't killed anyone.
All those people that follow the lockdown rules have reason to think he did something majorly wrong.
I just find it utterly hilarious that you think mistaking a few glasses of wine in the number 10 garden.
It's not about wine or cake.
Is that a worse level than mistaking the presence of weapons of mass destruction?
It's anti-democratic.